The United States men's national team defeated Jamaica 3-1 in extra time to advance to the Nations League Final, where they will be facing Mexico this Sunday. In a match that, quite honestly, the United States showed us that sometimes it's best to be lucky than good. It was not pretty, and I probably need the Men in Black's neuralizer to forget this game, just to wipe it from my memory. Because I'm really tired of Berhalter ball, but hey, we won. We'll take it. We're off to the final. We'll play on Sunday, and hopefully the United States defeats Mexico. Hi, I'm your host Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV, and welcome to the 7 Things We Learned series, where every single day following a U.S. men's national team match, we do a video on 7 things that we learned. Now, there's obviously more lessons, but we cap it at 7 because 7 is a magical number. We talked about the 7 days of the week, and I don't know, there were other things I was going to say, but I just totally forgot about it. But you can let me know, what did you learn from United States 3, Jamaica 1? Also, thank you to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video, and thank you everyone that joined our Patreon last night during the game. I truly appreciate the support. The link to Underdog Fantasy and to the Patreon are all in the description of this video. With that said, drop a like because it's free and it's a great way to support the channel, or drop a dislike if you hate me. Either way, I'm not judging you, okay? Let's go to lesson number 1. Lesson number 1 is actually quite fascinating to me that I even have to put this as a lesson. But over the past few weeks, maybe not you watching it, but a lot of the U.S. men's national team fans have been saying that we should bench Gio and start Tillman because, you know, Gio hasn't been playing for his club and Tillman is playing very well for PSV in the Eredivisie. Well, guess what? Y'all got what you wanted. Gio Reyna was benched, Tillman started. And by the looks of the game, or by the reaction of a lot of the fans, it's quite clear that everyone knows that Gio Reyna is clearly a superior player, a better player than Tillman. He's a better playmaker. He was a game changer. Just remember this. The eyes don't lie. Sure, Tillman's stats are better right now because he's playing for his team, but Gio Reyna is a better player, and we saw that in the game. It's not just because of this game. We've seen it multiple times with the U.S. men's national team. Just look at both performances. Sure, Gio had more minutes in the past, but he's always been better for the U.S. men's national team, and Gio has shown that he can play in the Bundesliga. Tillman has yet to show us that he can play in the top 5 league. Sure, he was struggling with Dortmund, but we know Gio can do it. And once Gio sorts out his club situation, no USMNT fan, no media member or federation shill will be anti-Gio. He is one of our most talented players, and he showed at this game. He was a game changer, and honestly, along with the luck, which we're going to talk about that very soon, Gio is probably the reason why we got this win. So again, he is a starter for the U.S. men's national team. He is our best playmaker, and as we've been saying for like 3 years or so, he's best when he plays central, and Gio was fantastic. He was the man of the match, in my opinion, with Haji Wright right behind him. Another great performance. We'll talk about Haji later in the video. Lesson number 2 is far less of a controversial take, but I think it was more evident than ever. There were a lot of people saying that Scally should maybe start over Dest because defensively he is better. And I still agree that Scally is a little bit better than Dest defensively. Not by a lot, by a little. But we saw in this game what we normally see. If you watch Scally in the Bundesliga, you should know this by now, that Dest, the gap actually between Dest and Scally on the ball is actually huge. It's really big, like this big. Whatever this means. I don't know what this means, but this is a lot. The gap between them defensively is like this, with a minor advantage for Joe Scally. So my point here, there were people saying that in certain situations we can bench Dest to put Scally, and to that I say, no. There is no situation where you bench Dest and start Joe Scally. Now, this is not saying that Scally is a bad player. He's not, and I'm very happy that we have him as a backup right back. When Dest can't go because he's suspended, injured, or had diarrhea, sure, start Scally and we should be fine. I know he struggled last night, but he is a good player. I watched him a lot in the Bundesliga. He's a very good player. But Dest is the starting right back, and he probably will be for the next maybe 10 years or so, unless someone else shows up. I don't think Scally will ever reach Dest's level. But again, he is one heck of a backup for you to have. Oh, and just to make one thing clear, the same way I said that Scally's not a bad player, he's actually a really good player, that's my opinion on Tillman as well. On lesson number 1, I wasn't really bashing Tillman. I think Tillman is a really good player. I just think he's considerably worse than Gio Reyna. Lesson number 3 is show me one convincing, dominant Greg Berhalter win with the US men's national team, and I will show you a chicken with teeth. Okay, and by the way, by like win, I mean like in a competitive game, right? You're not going to pull up like that he beat Grenada 6-0, like in a competitive game. It seems like with Greg Berhalter, even when you're meant to get an easy win, because no offense to Jamaica, they were missing 6 or 7 starters. They were missing Mikel Antonio, Amari Bell, Leon Bailey, Ethan Pinnock, all Premier League players. And then Damari Gray, Shamar Nichols. They were missing so many key players that this was the game to make a statement at home. Win 2-3-0, dominate. Yet, Greg Berhalter's team, once again, relied on luck, because that last goal, the own goal in the last minute, was luck. And then moments of brilliance from Gio Reyna and Haji Wright. And here's the thing. Sure, there's a lot of blame to be put on the players because after all, they're the ones playing. But Berhalter's system is overly predictable. Jamaica prepared. They were able to neutralize it. And also he keeps persisting on sometimes putting players in roles that don't suit them. Joe Scally high up the field because, you know, Greg Berhalter's fullbacks have to be like Superman, superheroes. They have to be up high on the field, providing width, back defending. Then McKennie as a right back. Gio Reyna got benched. And I mean, he played 75 minutes right off the bench. So clearly he was fully fit. The Tyler Adams sub, even though Tyler was fine, didn't make sense to me. Put on a player where you're probably trying to send the game to extra time just to get a draw, and then he can't play the whole time. Then you have to pull him off for Johnny, even though Johnny probably would have been a better option because he's better on the ball, and then Gio wouldn't have to drop so deep. There's so many things with the in-game management, the system. I don't know, like if I keep talking, I'll never end. So again, the bare minimum manager has done it again. And brother, did he take bare minimum to a whole new level this time? This was literally the opportunity, as I said, to make a statement, and he relied on luck and then later on Gio Reyna and Haji Wright to save his ass at extra time. He literally got bailed out by a lucky moment at the 95th minute and 2 players. Same old predictable system, so many things that I keep repeating. And you know what? I said this earlier in the video. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And in Berhalter's case, it seems to happen way too often, except for the times he doesn't get lucky and then he usually loses. How much longer can he just rely on luck? Which that will bring us to lesson number 4. But before we get to lesson number 4, you're going to drop a like in this video if you haven't already. And you're going to hear, if you want to, a quick word from the sponsor of this video, Underdog Fantasy. As I said, the link to sign up if you want to is in the description of this video. And that's all. We'll be back in a minute. And thank you, Underdog Fantasy, for sponsoring Tactical Manager TV. Underdog Fantasy is a fun game to play prior to any soccer match, or basketball, or football as well, but we don't talk about those two in Tactical Manager TV. Sometimes basketball during live watch-alongs. I have been playing Underdog Fantasy for over a year now. You can download the app by using the link on the description of this video, and you can also use the promo code TMTV. And Underdog will be matching your first deposit for up to $100. And in the process, you'll be helping the channel avoid bankruptcy. The game I mainly play is called Pick'em. You just click on it, scroll to the soccer section, and pick a player for a specific match and select the stats that you believe will be lower or higher. It's very easy to play, but be smart about your picks because it's not easy to win. I'll be playing some Underdog Fantasy during some match live streams or match live watch-alongs, so stay tuned for that, as I will be forced to cheer for a player or root against him. Now, I am a professional hater, so I'll probably be rooting for the player's downfall. Once again, don't forget to use the promo code TMTV and use the link on the description of this video. Thank you, Underdog Fantasy, for sponsoring the channel. Lesson number 4 is the most obvious one of them all, which I guess we already have used this lesson in the past, like pretty much every camp, every time the US men's national team gets together, is that Berhalter has to go. Even if we beat Mexico on Sunday, which I hope we do, even though I'm not overly confident right now, he is not the right guy for this job. Greg Berhalter has to go. He has never gotten the whole to be greater than the sum of its parts for the U.S. men's national team. Something Jamaica actually was yesterday. He is not the guy, but it seems like U.S. soccer will continue to ride or die with this man. I'm honestly getting very tired. I don't know what else to do. I feel very repetitive, stating the obvious multiple times. And I don't know, I don't want to keep like mentioning all the issues with Berhalter. I said a few already in this video, and I said it on the 11 Yanks live stream. I've said it for like 4 years now. So I essentially ran out of bad things to say about Berhalter. Just send him to China. Let's just do that. Send him to China. Lesson number 5 is actually something that even under Berhalter, I wasn't really worried about this, but now I am. I am worried about the Copa America group stage. We were placed in the group with Uruguay, Panama, and Bolivia. And sure, we play at home. But after what I saw against this Jamaican side that was missing their best players, essentially, think about it for a second. Uruguay, they're far better than Jamaica, and we're already playing here at home. Can we beat Uruguay playing this way, which honestly has been how we played under Berhalter for the most part? We lost to Trinidad and Tobago away, and when we played them at home, it was 3-0, 3 goals in the last, 10 minutes, and we didn't play well. So can we beat Uruguay? Probably not. Can we pull a draw with them? Yeah, maybe, but if we play like this, no, we're going to lose. Panama, they got crushed by Mexico, but Panama is still a really good team. Honestly, probably better than this Jamaican side that was depleted, missing a bunch of players. So could Panama pull a draw against us? They could. What about Bolivia? Bolivia is not really good, but they will be playing away, which actually not really a but. That's like an issue for them because usually when they play in the altitude, they're tough to beat. But here's the thing about Bolivia. They're accustomed to try to grind out draws against teams like Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Uruguay away. So could they fight for a draw against the U.S.? Why not? So my point, do I think we're going to get out of our group even if Berhalter is in charge? I think we will, but am I concerned? Yes, I am concerned. I wasn't, but after what I saw, I guess, against Jamaica, I would say it got me concerned. Even though what I saw against Jamaica is nothing different from what we've seen throughout 4 or 5 years of Greg Berhalter, but I guess it was just another wake-up call for me. Maybe I was starting to become too much of a believer in Greg Berhalter. And I know it seems like I'm just blaming the coach. The players have, blame as well. But again, these players are doing great in the best leagues of the world. Why is it that when they come to the national team, they look so mediocre? Why can't they play for Milan, Fulham in the Premier League, Serie A, Juventus, dominate the Eredivisie with PSV, and then they come to the national team and they all look like they suck? Why? Lesson number 6 will be a quick one, and this is not really a criticism towards Christian Pulisic. He wasn't good yesterday. I still think he's our best player. I think most of you would agree with this. But Pulisic's a bit weird for the national team because he's very much an 8 or 800 player. What do I mean by that? For Milan, I've seen some average performances, good performances, bad, but mostly like average or good. For the national team, it's never average, good, or bad. It's usually really bad. Like yesterday, I thought he was pretty bad, Christian Pulisic, or he's freaking dominant, carrying the team on his back. So it's 8 or 800 for Christian Pulisic with the national team. Why? I don't know. Yesterday, unfortunately, it was an 8. Hopefully against Mexico, he pulls an 800. Which he normally does. He really likes to play against Mexico. Lesson number 7 is not really a lesson. I just want to give Haji Wright massive props. He was called up last minute because of an injury, right? I believe he replaced Josh Sargent and just came up into camp, did his thing, came off the bench, scored 2 goals. Besides Gio, he was the second best player we had in this match. Obviously had a tremendous impact, right? Gio got 2 assists. You don't get the assist if the player doesn't score. Very active when he came on, looked good. So massive props to Haji Wright. I still wouldn't start him. I would still put Weah and Pulisic on the wings. But Haji Wright is starting to push for it. And he has impressed me. And I've honestly been wrong about him in the past because I didn't think he could contribute to the U.S. men's national team anymore. But it looks like he can. I mean, he actually did. So massive props to Haji Wright right there. Amazing to get a brace off the bench when you weren't even in the roster. So that's all. That's the lesson. Or not even the lesson. It's just congrats to Haji Wright. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like before you go. And let us know in the comment section of this video, what did you learn from United States 3, Jamaica 1? I'll see you guys on Sunday. Probably on Saturday, we'll release a USA versus Mexico match preview for the final. We're seeking a guest. So once we get that sorted out, we'll get the video out on Saturday. Thank you, everyone that joined the Patreon and Underdog Fantasy as well. Their links are in the description of this video. I want to thank you all very much for watching, and have a great day.